Folks, we're witnessing something super interesting unfolding in Kenyan politics. And I'm of course talking about the response of the Deputy President's team to recent developments, to their detriment within the Jubilee Party. You know, if truth be told, I have never seen such kind of response from the Deputy President's strategists. Never ever. Just to emphasize, how significant this change is. It is like watching somebody move from manamba tactics, those people touts in matatus, to high-level chess. Oh yes, I kid you not. Well, let's break it down so that we all understand what I'm talking about. From my very keen observations of what the Deputy President is doing, I have noticed that there's some very interesting information being leaked to the press from the Deputy President's team. What kind of information, I can hear you ask? In a nutshell, it is insider information. Information that only insiders, at the highest level of government can know. And let me start with the objective, which is already very clear. We all know in the past, the Deputy President's team has never tired of telling us about dynasties. The question they pose to Kenyans is very simple. Do you want to continue being ruled by dynasties? Or do you want a change to the hustler nation? Somebody who's closer to being one of you. Now, let me make it very clear. The Deputy President is not a hustler. That should be very clear. However, the more important question is, will the Deputy President be able to sell himself as a genuine hustler to Kenyans? I don't know. But if you press me, I don't think so. The Kenyan voter has become very wise. The Kenyan voter is still tribalistic, but they are much wiser after the 2017 fiasco, general elections fiasco. Anyway, my point is, before Team Tangatanga was fond of telling us directly about dynasties, but now the strategy in the information that is being leaked to certain sections of the press, the strategy is to show us the dynasties. And so recently, a story was released to the press, and the story was about the inner workings of the president's inner circle. For the first time, we were told about President Uhuru Kenyatta's Supreme War Council, consisting of characters like the very controversial Nancy Gitao. We have talked about her on this channel before. And she's much more than just a political strategist for the president. Many Kenyans don't even know what she looks like. She could easily pass you in the street and you'd have no idea who she is. You would not even guess that she's one of the most powerful women in Kenya today. Now, I've prepared a special playlist of my previous videos on Nancy Gitao, which should be on the top right-hand corner of your screens right now. Click on it, put it aside, and you can catch up later in case you missed those videos or you want to refresh your memory. But for my analysis today, I want to introduce a name, which is a brand new name, as far as Kenyan politics goes. And it seems that Team Tangatanga are very determined that this name becomes a center of focus in Kenyan politics. And that name is Mohoho Kenyatta. Mohoho is the younger brother of the president. And according to this very detailed article in a section of the press, I have included a link to that article in the description area below, so that you can also take that article in, look at it. Now in that article, we are told that Mohoho is the de facto leader of this setup that the article calls the Supreme War Council for the president. The people who advise him, the people who plan and strategize all his political moves. And we're also told he's a finance man. But what is very interesting is the latest development which took place a few hours ago, where three prominent former elected politicians gave a very controversial press conference where they detailed the reason why the deputy president is a marked man, allegedly, according to them. These three were Boni Halwale, the bullfighter from Kakamega, Julius Mudhama, former senator of Machakos, and Hassan Omar, former senator of Mombasa. The three told us that the plan is to change the constitution through a referendum. We already know that. But what they said next is what should be of great interest to most Kenyans, because it's shocking. They say that the boardroom plan is that if there's a powerful prime minister that emerges out of the referendum, then the president will remain in politics and he will take up that post of prime minister in 2022. But if from the referendum emerges a weak prime minister, then the person who will take that post, wait for this one, is Mohoho Kenyatta. Now, clearly, you can see there's a pattern developing here. And let me make it very clear. These are mere allegations. Politicians can say anything. It is not necessarily true what they're saying. However, I want you to take note, very careful note, of the pattern that is emerging. And especially that name that keeps on cropping up. That name that is being dragged into Kenyan politics for the very first time. The name of the president's brother, Mohoho Kenyatta. Now, we all know that the president's younger brother has never, ever held an elective post. And we also know that even a weak prime minister, a prime minister who doesn't have much power, will need to have some political experience. Anybody involved in politics would know straight away that it would be suicide to maneuver any inexperienced rookie into such a political hot seat as a prime minister, powerful or not. And so my initial reaction to this, my initial one, it could change tomorrow if I see more evidence, but my initial reaction is that this is not true, which means that a possible objective of Team Tangatanga would be to drag family members of the president bang into the middle of Kenyan politics. And we know, that those family members have remained out of the limelight, away from politics, deliberately. But now, it seems somebody wants to smoke them out. And I suspect that somebody wants to blame these people, for his problems within the Jubilee Party. And at the same time, attempt to give Kenyans conclusive evidence, that we are talking about a dynasties here. Somebody goes out of politics, a relative takes over, somebody leaves power, a relative ascends to a powerful position in his place, etc., etc. That is the rhetoric, that Team Tangatanga is desperately trying to sell to the voter. And we know that what matters to the voter is not the truth. What really matters is what they perceive to be the truth. And what I suspect is that very soon, sooner rather than later, the team Tangatanga Strategists will introduce another member of the president's family into this Uhuru Kenyatta succession politics. And when they do that, I can assure you, it'll really get ugly. You see, the deputy president knows all these people very well. He knows what they hate. He knows the last thing they want to happen. And it seems that what the deputy president's strategists are doing is focusing with the focus of a laser beam on those things that these people close to the president don't want. And they're doing it gradually, step by step, methodically, so that when they're done, they will have painted a complete picture for the Kenyan voter. A picture that will cause the Kenyan voter to completely loathe and hate the first family. That is clearly the objective here. Now, I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm a political analyst. My work on this channel is to read the politics, and open your eyes as to the direction that politics is headed. And in my view, there are certain lines that should not be crossed in politics. And if somebody crosses them, there can only be one result. Everything turns extremely ugly. In my humble view, it is not the end of the world if one ceases to be the deputy president. It is not the end of the world even if other people used dirty tactics, or tactics the person sees as being dirty, to remove them from a position of influence as deputy president. It is not the end of the world. It is not time to start tactics that can destroy the country. Because when you turn your politics into ugly politics, anything can happen. And at the end of the day, the people who suffer most are the ordinary folks, the innocent, the people of Kenya. If I was in politics, this is my opinion, if I was in politics and somebody did that to me, I would go quietly. Because if I was such a good politician, if I had done so much for the people, if the voters loved me so much, they would step in and defend me. I would not need to defend myself. If I was a politician of integrity, and if one day I ever enter politics, I will uphold integrity, others I'll resign. If I was in that position, and the voters, the people of Kenya, whom I had served with dedication and done so much for, refused to defend me, then I would have no reason for hanging on to my office or my position. What for? Because I serve as a politician at the pleasure of the voters. The people who elected me. If those people cannot defend me when I'm being attacked, when I'm being hounded out of office, then that is a very clear message from the voters that I have not done my job effectively. And therefore, the right thing to do, and I agree the right thing to do is not always the easiest thing. In fact, it is rarely an easy thing to do. But the right thing to do would be to resign. Go quietly, so that that voter can find somebody else who will do a better job than me. That is the way it is supposed to work. Now, I want to be very clear. I don't want people to get me wrong. I am not saying that the president's family are angels. I am not saying that the president's family are safi kama pamba. No! What I am saying is that if you are a politician in a powerful position and your genuine supporters, your voters, the people who voted you into office, cannot defend you, then the only thing you need to do is to succumb to the pressure and leave office. But as I said in a previous video, that's not the way politics works in Kenya. Because I'm not naive. Politics in Kenya is a power game. Politics in Kenya is a game of control. Politicians in Kenya are not servants of the people. They are bosses of the people. And therefore, if any politician's position is threatened, like the position of the deputy president is now threatened, then what usually happens is that politicians come out fighting. They come out employing every dirty trick in the book to remain in power. They want to remain the boss at all costs. Now, the huge problem with this is that it usually results in problems and chaos and major crisis for the ordinary, long-suffering people of Kenya. And I speak to people on the ground every day. I know what Kenyans are saying. I know what Kenyans are thinking. Because what they think, they express in their thoughts and in their actions. And I can tell you for free that Kenyans are fed up with their politicians. They are more than fed up with Team Keleweke, and they are more than fed up with Team Tangatanga. And that is why any keen observer will notice that very few ordinary folks are getting involved in this power struggle. Because I can't think of any other better word to describe what is going on in Kenya now. And these things are going on even as Kenyans are suffering. People can't put food on the table. People have lost livelihoods. People have no idea what kind of country they are going to leave behind for their children. And that is why my prediction is that very shortly, these warring politicians will quickly find themselves at the wrong end of the wrath of the Kenyan voter. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.